Hello, today I'm going to be showing you how you can turn your photos or videos into 3D models. For this, we're going to need either Unreal Engine 5.4 or 5.5, RealityCapture, Jawset, Postshot, and then SuperSplat. So Unreal Engine and RealityCapture can both be found on the Epic Games Store, which can be downloaded on the internet. You'll find them located under the Unreal Engine tab on the left, where you can download the latest version of them, like shown. So you just click on the plus icon and then you can add in the latest version. For Postshot, you download the latest version and tick the boxes as shown and then click install. SuperSplat doesn't require any downloading as it's just a browser website. There will be links to everything in the description below. For step 1, we have to get photos or a video of what we want to create. Here we can see my object, which is a motherboard, on the middle of a flat table. This is so I can easily take photos of every region of my object as I go around it. You can see me setting up the camera to get ready to show you the motion of how to take your photos. You want to go around your object taking pictures from different heights so you can get as much detail possible in the final model. I'll now show you a time lapse of me getting photos of my motherboard. On to RealityCapture, which we use to create a point cloud of our object from the photo/video we just took. In RealityCapture, there's many different ways to view your work, as I'm showing here. Today, we're just going to be using this simple half-screen split. This highlighted box is what we use to change the selected screen into the 3D viewport, so we can see our point cloud once it's created. These are the basic tools we'll be using this video. You can take it a step further by using these tools above, but for today's video, we will just be using the basic version. To add in our photos, we will click on the folder icon above. If it was a video, we would click on Video Sequence first, which will automatically split your video into photos that you can use for the same process. We will then find our photos and add them to the scene. You should then go through each individual photo to make sure there are none that you don't want added to the point cloud. Here you can see me checking each photo. We will then start the alignment process, which goes through each photo and creates a point cloud, which is a 3D representation of an object or space. Here you can see the point cloud of our motherboard. This came out great, as you can see the accurately positioned set data points in space. We will use this point cloud to create a gaussian splat of the motherboard in Jawset Postshot. When we click on these triangles in the space, we can see what RealityCapture thinks the camera took the position of the photo. These came out quite accurate, as you can see that it's got the position quite right. Now we have to export the registration and point cloud to use in Postshot. We find this in the alignment tab, and for the registration we need to export it as an internal/external camera parameter. Save it as a suitable file name and then click OK. For the point cloud, we want to make sure it's exported as a sparse point cloud in PLY form. Make sure you click save on this, and then you want to make sure that you click export ASCII as false. Once you've clicked false, you can then click OK, and that's it. Now onto Jawset Postshot, where we will train a Gaussian splat of the point cloud we just created. Before we move on, we need to make sure we have a folder with the two files we just exported and the photos we used to create the point cloud. Once that's done, we can open Postshot and drag that folder straight in. You will see many different options that you can change, but we're just going to be changing the stop training option to 34K steps. We then click import and it will start training the Gaussian splat to look as good as it can. Here's a quick time lapse. Once that's completed, you can see our final splat. You can see a lot of extra detail in the background, so we're going to be using a crop box to get rid of it. The cropping feature in Postshot is not that great, So once we've cropped it to the best of our ability, we will transfer this cropped version over to SuperSplat, where we can go into more depth on making our splat look better. Once we're ready to export our splat, and we've cropped it to the best of our ability, we will export it as a PLY file, so we can open it up in SuperSplat. Once we're in SuperSplat, we will click on Import Scene so we can get ready to work on it. When it loads in, you can see our splat with the millions of data points in space. You can click on these two options on the right to view our splat in different ways. Use whichever way is easier for you, then click on the Brush Select option in the bottom, which allows us to draw over points we don't want and delete them off the splat. Go over the whole model and delete the points which aren't necessary for the model. This will make the final model look better and reduce the overall file size. Once we have our final crop model, we can export it back as a compressed PLY file back to Postshot. In Postshot, we click on File, then Import, and then it opens up our new model in the scene. Go over and do your final tweaks to the model and do some final cropping if needed. Then once it's done, click Save, and then we can get ready to import it over to Unreal Engine. Our final task is to open up our Postshot splat in Unreal Engine. Boot up the Unreal editor and create a new blank scene and save it as whatever you'd like. Once Unreal eventually opens, we want to drag our Postshot scene into the content browser of the Unreal Engine. Then we can drag our Postshot scene straight into the viewport so we can see what our motherboard would look like in the game. We will probably then want to scale it down so it's a suitable size for our game, as it could be overly large sometimes. We can then hit play and look at the final version of our model in the game. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all good luck in your future projects.